In a previous recording titled Zimbabwe on the Edge, Will the Protest Change Everything? I had a flood of comments in the comment section. Some people threatening to unsubscribe because apparently they were saying I do not support the 31st of March protest. Obviously, it shows that the people never listened to the whole commentary, because if you listen to the end, you know exactly what my position is. So, 31 March. This is what we are going to talk about in this commentary. And those who had doubts about where I stand, you can still listen this one to the end, please. Now, Chamisa is irrelevant as far as 31 March is concerned. Yes, you heard that right. As far as March 31 protest is concerned, this is not about him. This is not about any political party. This is about the people, tired, hungry, and fed up, but now finally taking matters into their own hands. For once, there is no opposition figure to blame, no Western puppet to accuse. Just ordinary Zimbabweans say enough is enough. Chamisa himself has made it clear that he is not involved. He stated, and I quote, "I want to clarify that my door is always open to speak with anyone who reaches out to me for constructive conversations and nation building. But I have not been involved in recent dialogues with anyone. I don't want to be made the focal point of things that have nothing to do with me." Close quote. I know that some people took this as a betrayal, but most of Chamisa's loyal supporters took this as wisdom. But in reality, it is the perfect opportunity for Zimbabweans to realize that their future is not in the hands of one man. The people have to own this fight. In the past, Zimbabweans, whether opposition supporters or ruling party supporters, have put their faith in one man, in Robert Mugabe, in Mnangagwa, in Nelson Chamisa, in Tsvangirai. They have apexed their grievances into a single person. And this is not very good for democracy. It is not. Because once that person is in power, people tend to elevate that person to a level of a god. And when that person starts making mistakes, then people start resisting removing that person. In a democracy, people need to be free to remove anyone that they want to remove, and be free to elect anyone that they want to elect at that particular moment. That is how democracy works. Apexing your grievances into one person is a recipe for creating dictators. Now, back to the 31st March. For years, ZANU-PF's favorite excuse has been blaming the opposition for everything. No jobs is Chamisa's fault. No electricity, Chamisa stole the sun. Inflation through the roof, the opposition is working with America. The government has always needed an enemy, someone to blame for their spectacular failures. But this time, they have a problem. The protests are coming directly from the people. There is no opposition figure leading the charge. No Western-backed conspiracy to cry about. It's just angry citizens who are sick of being poor, sick of being lied to, and sick of waiting for change that never comes. For once, Mnangagwa and his crew can't point fingers at anyone but themselves. And that, my friends, is a nightmare scenario for them. The people have lost faith in the opposition parties that are supposedly representing them in parliament. When Chavangu recalled MPs from parliament, he did a great disservice to the country. But it was also a blessing in disguise. It also revealed to us that we have a whole lot of those that we used to call opposition leaders that are not opposition leaders. The moment Fadzai Mahere and Ostalos Siziba resigned from parliament, everyone who remained in parliament or anyone who was recalled afterwards is not an opposition figure. Those are in it for money, not in it for the people. They are in it for what they can get. Because if they were in it for people, they would also have resigned when Mahere and Ostalos resigned. So there's no opposition in parliament. There's no opposition to blame in parliament. Opposition is outside, and its leader is Nelson Chamisa. Not being leader of Triple C, not being leader of, but being leader of a movement. But 31st March, we have another leader, Blessed Geza. He might have been ZANU-PF, but whatever he is saying, the grievances that he is projecting are the grievances being projected by every Zimbabwean. So, he needs our support. He is also an opposition leader. The government has always needed an enemy, someone to blame for their spectacular failures. But this time, they have a problem. The protests are coming directly from the people. There is no opposition figure leading the change. No Western-backed conspiracy to cry about. It's just angry citizens who are sick of being poor, sick of being lied to, and sick of waiting for change that never comes. For once, Mnangagwa and his crew can't point fingers at anyone but themselves, and that, my friends, is a nightmare scenario for them. What happens when a dictatorship loses its scapegoat? It starts panicking. Mnangagwa and his handlers have spent years perfecting the art of propaganda, always ready to blame Chamisa for every protest, every economic collapse, and every sign of resistance. But this time, they have no one to blame. They can't arrest Chamisa for something he has publicly distanced himself from. They can't scream regime change agenda when it's ordinary Zimbabweans leading the charge. What do they do now? Do they tell the world that thousands of protesters are all Western puppets? Do they pretend that the suffering Zimbabweans filling the streets are part of some foreign-funded conspiracy? The truth is, they have no idea how to respond. That's why they are already scrambling, trying to intimidate, trying to silence people before the protests even begin. But it's too late. The people have already decided. Some people keep asking, but why isn't Chamisa leading this protest? The answer is simple, because this is not his fight. At least not yet. If he jumps in now, the regime will use that as an excuse to clamp down and arrest people and call it an opposition plot. But without him, what justification do they have? None. Who are they going to arrest? The entire country? Chamisa knows that leadership comes after the people take charge. His role is not to be the face of the uprising. It is to step in when victory is in sight. When the people have made it clear that ZANU-PF's time is up. The struggle has never been about Chamisa alone, and this protest is proving just that. March 31 is not about the opposition as in opposition parties. It is about the suffering teacher who can't afford bus fare. It is about the nurse earning peanuts while ministers fly to Dubai for shopping trips or to have lunch. It is about the vendor who risks being harassed by police just to sell tomatoes. It is about the ordinary Zimbabwean who has been pushed to the limit and finally realizes that no leader, no party, and no savior is coming. Only the people themselves can force change. For too long, Zimbabweans have looked at politicians and asked, what are you doing for us? But the real question is, what are we doing for ourselves? This is not the time to be afraid. This is not the time to wait for someone else to act. This is the moment where every Zimbabwean, young or old, must decide whether they are willing to fight for their future or remain prisoners of fear. No one is coming to save us. We must save ourselves. The regime will try to intimidate. They will try to scare people. But remember this, there is power in numbers. This is not a violent protest. This is a peaceful protest. And it is protected by our constitution. People have a way of expressing their feelings. If their feelings or if their views are not being taken into consideration, when the people stand together, no police force, no army, and no dictator can stop them. Fear is what keeps a regime alive, and courage is what kills it. If you are waiting for permission to stand up, consider this your permission slip. The time is now. ZANU-PF has been throwing this thing of 2030 into our faces and saying everyone was there at the conference. Everyone agreed to it. Well, this is the time to show that we do not care what everyone agreed at the conference. That conference was not the people of Zimbabwe, it was the ZANU-PF supporters. And ZANU-PF supporters are less than 10% of the nation. So they shouldn't be there to decide for the whole nation. One may say, oh, because ZANU-PF won the election. They never won the elections. They rigged the elections. They know they do not have support of the people. The time is now. And for those worried about what happens next, let's get one thing clear. Chamisa's absence now does not mean he is out of the picture forever. When the people succeed in removing ZANU-PF, leadership will be needed. And Chamisa will still be there, ready to play his part, whether it's leading a new government, negotiating with factions like Geza and Chiwenga, or simply guiding the transition to democracy. This is not about one man, but when the dust settles, he will be among those shaping the future. Even if the road to change includes unexpected alliances and negotiations, what matters is that Zimbabwe gets a new beginning, a fresh start. So let's settle this once and for all. Chamisa is irrelevant for now. Not because he is weak, but because the people are strong. His role will come after the people remove ZANU-PF, when leadership is needed to build a new Zimbabwe. Chiwenga is irrelevant for now. Kasupuwere is irrelevant for now. Any other leader that you might have or that you might want to take over the reins is irrelevant for now. Right now, in this moment, the power belongs to the people. And that's exactly how it should be. So, to those still asking, where is Chamisa? I have one final question for you. Where are you? The fight is here. The moment is now. And history is waiting to be written. You can either be part of it or watch from the sidelines. Choose wisely. For years, people tended to apex all their grievances into one person. Whether supporting ZANU-PF or whether supporting opposition, whether it was MDC, whether it was Zoom, whether it was Triple C, people tended to focus on one person and put all their grievances on one person and then take that person as the face of their problems. But this is a problem. This is what tends to elevate these people into demigods. And when they start doing wrong things, we can't remove them because we have elevated them so much that we cannot imagine a leadership where they are not there. This is a recipe for disaster. It is a recipe for creating dictators. Power belongs to the people. Whoever we choose as a leader must do so on our behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, subscribe to Zimwaves TV because we are not here to sugarcoat reality. We are here to shake the system. And to every Zimbabwean out there, stand up, rise up, and take your destiny into your own hands. The future is yours. Claim it.